Now, student loan is one of the things that Sofi Technisys generates their revenues from. Now, you will know that ever since the pandemic, of course, or ever since the pandemic started in 2020, we have seen, or we saw the government, of course, halting student loan repayments, which is something that not only did it hurt Sofi, but it also hurt all, of course, financial institutions, all companies that are, of course, generating revenues from these student loans. So Sofi Technologies, together with the others, have been, of course, applying or sending out letters to, of course, the government or Federal Reserve to consider resuming student loans. Last year, in 2021, you will know that obviously Sofi Technologies indicated that obviously due to the student loans repayment halt, they lose total revenues of around or of between 20 to 25 million dollars per quarter, which now we might actually find that it's more than that. So student loans does contribute it's a major contributor into Sofi's revenue, and the fact that it has been put to halt from 2020 or from March of 2020 just definitely means that obviously Sofi has not been generating much revenue from student loan repayments as they've been put to hold since the pandemic started. Now, ladies and gents, we just read, just recently we've been reading news of saying that it looks like student loan repayment might be obviously resuming from May or around May, depending on the outcome made by the court on the student loan forgiveness. So I'm really excited, and I hope that if we get to see this, obviously, or if we get to see student loan repayments resuming, this will bring a serious boost into Sofi Technologies, because so far you will know that already for the year they've given us their guidance on their Q4 earnings, and that for the total year of 2023 they are targeting or expecting to report total revenues of between $1.925 to $2 billion, which is something that is incredible, as it is taken, or it's a 25 to 30% increase in revenues comparing to, of course, the total revenues they reported of just over $1.5 billion in 2022. So if we get to see student loan resuming, this obviously is going to make Sofi Technologies to again, or to come out and, of course, increase their guidance for the year, which is something that is incredible, or which will be amazing, because then Sofi will be able to generate more revenue, or tons and tons of revenue coming from student loans. You might find that obviously due or because of the student loan resumptions, we see Sofi Technologies, I don't know, adding 100 or 200 million dollars of revenue just in a single year, which is something that is incredible, right? And this is something that makes me to want to load the boat, want to add Sofi or stock once again to my portfolio. As most of you already know that this is a stock that obviously after reporting their Q4 earnings, we saw the stock surging, and it got boosted in a way that obviously I saw myself sitting with some good returns on this stock, particularly because obviously more stocks recovered in January, which led into me selling my entire Sofi holdings, of course thinking, or of course in anticipation of the fact that we might see stocks crashing in the coming few weeks or months, due to the fact that the Federal Reserve might crash the markets like what we saw happening in 2022. Now, before we dig deep into this video, already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. I really appreciate if you can just hit the likes button if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about Sofi Technologies and what is it that we can expect from May with regards to the student loan repayments, which will definitely boost Sofi as a revenue. So if you are enjoying this kind of content, I really appreciate if you can give it that thumbs up, as it also helps with YouTube's algorithm. Otherwise, if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. So yes, right now I don't own Sofi. I'm hoping the plan is for me to start loading Sofi as soon as probably it drops below $6 per stock, which I think it might come very soon. And the reason why I think that is because I believe that the Federal Reserve might crash the markets like what we saw happening in 2022. So what am I trying? What did we see in 2022? We saw, of course, rapid rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, which ended up, of course, crashing the markets. We saw inflation was very high, which is still the case even now, though we've been seeing maybe sort of like a deflation or inflation sort of like decreasing, but it is still very high. I mean, inflation for the month of January, which was reported in February, we saw it coming out to be worse than what analysts expected. And that, my friend, is something that must just make you to think, or makes us think that obviously we are not yet out, or the US is not yet out of high inflation. In fact, this might result in the Federal Reserve increasing a bit aggressively interest rates so that they curb this inflation. This is, or it is for this reason why when I saw the gain back early February, I ended up selling my Sofi holdings, which obviously, yeah, ever since then I've not regretted anything, because my average, you will know that, of course, if it was just above $7, or I think it was around $7.05, which obviously, looking at where Sofi is trading at right now, it is still trading below the average which I had, which obviously had I not sold, of course, I would be at a loss. But nonetheless, as I'm saying now, of course, I'm targeting to enter, or I'm targeting an entry again onto this Sofi Technologies stock of at least below $6 per stock. So with the moment Sofi Technologies starts trading below $6, I'm going to start piling once again onto Sofi Technologies, because like I said, personally believe that it is going to happen. The Federal Reserve is going to crash the market. They are going to come and try to aggressively increase interest rates to curb this inflation, because it looks like inflation, it's not coming down as fast or as they want it to, which is what, ladies and gents, it might result. In fact, we are going to see it resulting in them aggressively increasing interest rates to make sure that it comes down at a fast pace, or at a kind of a pace they want. So this, ladies and gents, it is the one thing that is making me, instead of going in and buy stocks or load the boat onto stocks or most stocks, it is making me to just pile or have a chunk of my money into my portfolio, trying to aim for the opportunities, or the good opportunities that we might see when the stock market crashes. Yes, I'm not sure, or I'm not 100% certain that the stock market will crash again, but if it does, which of course chances are it will, or it might, as so many analysts also are projecting or expecting that obviously it will. I mean, just this week I read an article from another analyst who was saying that we might not even see the Federal Reserve starting to cut interest rates this year, due to the fact that inflation is still very high. So that, of course, a good sentiment which make the markets to recover, of people or investors or analysts expecting at least the Federal Reserve by the end of this year to start cutting interest rates, might be out of the plan, due to the fact that inflation is still very high and it is not coming down as fast as, of course, the Federal Reserve want it to, which will result, or might result, in the Federal Reserve aggressively increasing interest rates, which will definitely crash the markets, or even lead the US going into a recession, which we all know what, of course, recession will do or does to stocks. It makes, or in most times, it makes the markets to crash. So I'm hoping, or I'll be ready if that happens. As like I said, I am piling, or I continue piling, or having a lot of cash into my portfolio, so that I can aim, or I can target the good opportunities on stocks like Sofi, because these are just stocks which are set to do very well. I mean, Sofi Technologies in their Q4, we know that obviously they are planning to report a profitable quarter around Q4 of 2023, which is something that is incredible, and that, ladies and gents, will definitely excite a lot of Sofi Technology. So Sofi continues to be that stock which is just set for greatness. This is a stock that its fundamentals, its future prospects will definitely be the one to make Sofi to flourish, not just growing in terms of the revenues they generate, but I personally believe that it will, or their fundamentals will also make the share price of Sofi to recover. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I'm very excited about the fact that we might see, of course, student loan repayments resuming in the US starting from May, because that, ladies and gents, like I said at the beginning of this video, we are going to see that increasing or boosting Sofi Technologies revenue, which will be so amazing. So if we get to see, obviously, that happening in the second or in May of 2023, then we are going to definitely see Sofi Technologies raising their guidance when it comes to the total revenues they expect to generate for the year 2023, which that, ladies and gents, should definitely make you to see or maybe start thinking about loading the boat, increasing your holdings, or buying Sofi Technology for the very first time, because this is a stock that one way or the other, it is just set to do very well. This is a stock that when I buy this time around, I'm going to remain a long term, or I'm going to remain long onto this stock, because I believe that this is one of the stocks which is just set for greatness. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you load the boat, please also do your own due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing onto this Sofi Technology stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And God bless you all.